Welcome everybody to the SportsCast. My name is. Let me see. What it was.
It was not that bad.
There we go. No, let me. Granville was messing with the camera before.
Well, because it was literally just him.
No,
Oh
we were both in this.
I was literally like this.
No, you're like that anyway most of the time. So, because you end up moving out of the shot. Anyway, welcome to the SportsCast. My name is Ben. This is my co-host Granville, the complainer Sexton.
Oh my gosh. Splash this border
or
on you.
nagging Nancy Sexton.
You're gonna melt.
And this is the SportsCast where we talk about sports and things that aren't sports.
Oh my gosh. They talk about sports on the SportsCast?
Yeah, I know. It's surprisingly enough. Yes. Let's start out this week, as we have the last 7 weeks, with USFL recap real quick. We won't go too in depth on it. Just give you a quick update on how everything's going, because this is your one update on how the
source of the USFL.
Yeah, so New Jersey beat Tampa Bay 20-13.
Right.
Luis Perez played decently. 19 of 25 for 174 yards and a touchdown. It's almost like
wow.
yeah. Jordan Tiamu did not play well.
Right.
17.
That's not new.
17 for 37, 1 touchdown, and 3 picks.
Wow.
Yeah. Tiamu, his stock has really fallen in this year with the USFL.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, you wish for everybody to succeed in this league, but yeah, he's just not played real well this year. Maybe it's I don't really know. In the first overtime game with the USFL, the New Orleans Breakers beat the Michigan Panthers 31-27.
Wow. So what's the overtime rules?
Overtime rules is basically the equivalent of a hockey shootout kind of thing. So each team
2-point conversions.
Yeah, each team gets 3 2-point conversions.
Okay.
If any team is up by 4 points, then they win.
Right.
And if they're tied after the 3 attempts on each side, then it's sudden death.
So what if they both score, or one scores 4 and one scores 6? Because you said they have to.
Well, it would be, then they would win. Then the team that scores 6 wins.
So, okay. And if you go up 4 at any point,
then you win. So that's what happened in this game. They got to overtime, and Michigan blew both of their 2-point conversions to start off with, and Michigan scored their 2-point conversions
the
and won.
Breakers scored there too.
Yeah. New Orleans. Yeah. And looking at the stats real quick, Shea Patterson did not play in this game. And
I did see some controversy. I heard that Shea Patterson was just next to the defensive coordinator the entire game for the Breakers, just telling them what the play was.
I mean, that's why you get him.
That's so dirty.
It is, but welcome to spring football. That's
awful.
Yeah, it sucks for Shea, but it didn't really help Slaughter out that much. Slaughter went 15 for 24 for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Clearly they didn't. Dude, even Shea passing information along
didn't help.
It's not very great.
No. Really, they were Josh Love's bruised finger away from losing this game.
That's
Love was played. I didn't watch all of it. I watched the last half of the fourth quarter, and right up until the overtime started, which is when my stream cut out and I couldn't get it back on. But yeah, the commentators were talking about Josh Love had it taped up his thumb right up here at the top, where it was affecting his throwing motion. He went 18 of 37 for 180 yards with no touchdowns, which would have been better if he hadn't injured his hand.
Right.
Slaughter looked the best I've seen Slaughter in the last couple weeks. He actually looked mobile in this game, but with the increased mobility, a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week, I said that Kyle Slaughter is the Brett Favre of this league. It definitely showed. Watching him on those last couple of drives. He led the drive. They kicked a field goal to actually send it to overtime.
Right.
But watching him on those last couple of drives, I was like, Slaughter, what are you doing? Why are you like? It was not a whole lot of fun watching Slaughter in those games. Definitely a very high ceiling, high floor or low floor kind of guy. Next game was the Birmingham Stallions versus the Pittsburgh Maulers, and can you guess what happened in this game?
The Stallions won.
Yep.
Oh my god.
26-16. It was actually the Maulers had their biggest lead of any game in this new team's history at 4 points early on in this game. Actually, it got up to, I want to say,
You mean
6.
the Maulers?
Yeah, the Maulers, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh had a.
Man, you're doing that a lot today.
Yeah, I know. I'm not real good. My words aren't real good. They were up 10-6 going into halftime, and the reason I was rooting for them up until right before the half because Kirby Wilson. I was listening to this game for a little bit, and then I turned it off after halftime because I was disgusted. Because Kirby Wilson, they had the ball. They were going to kick the ball to the Breakers. They had decent field position. They were on their own 40 with 2 minutes left to go and a couple of timeouts. Guess what Kirby Wilson does? He doesn't try to go down the field to score any points.
He punts it.
No, he just runs out the clock. Like, he was just handoff over and over again to run out the clock to get to the half. To give the ball to the Breaker, or to the Stallions.
What's the score at this point?
10-6.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
you have 2 minutes left.
Yeah, 2 minutes left in
terrible.
the half.
Honestly, that's coming from the standpoint of like,
well,
we're gonna lose this game. Let's just lose it by as little as possible.
It was almost like his strategy was, well, we're up by 4, which is better. I'm not used to being in this position. Let's try to end this game as quickly as possible. And right before the first half ends, he's like already in the let's end this game now. Like we're up, we're winning. Let's try to end this thing.
Speechless.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was so bad that even the commentators on the TV, and this is something I've said several times about Kirby Wilson coached football games, it was so bad the commentators were like, what are you doing? Like, this is dumb. Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
So that's Pittsburgh football there. Really, this whole section is just me like, how did the Breakers do, and what stupid thing did Kirby Wilson do this week?
Yeah.
And then last game, which is currently still ongoing. So, also to tell you, the Stallions and the Generals both clinched playoff spots this week.
Right.
So
The
Generals, I should say.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, they're 6-1 currently. They lost their first game and then have won every other game.
They lost to the Stallions, didn't they?
Yeah, I believe so in the first game, and then they've won every other game so far.
Wow.
So, so Jersey and Birmingham have both clinched playoff spots. They will also more than likely be the top seeds in there in both of their divisions. And then with 6 minutes left to go, or 7 minutes left to go, Philadelphia is up 30-24 versus Houston. Which, with a win here, oh man, they scored 17 points unanswered in the fourth quarter so far. But yeah, if they win this game, I would almost bet that the Stars will get that second. Will have almost locked up that second division.
Right.
There are 3 more weeks left, and they would have to play the other 3 teams, I believe, in their division. I believe that's what all the teams are doing. At least that's what the New Orleans Breakers are doing. So I'm assuming that's what every other team is doing. So they will have to face the other the Maulers and what are the other ones in their division? The Maulers and the Panthers. But both of them are at 1-6. It would be a miracle if either one of them were to beat out the Stars.
Right.
For that second playoff spot. And at 5-2, the Breakers have nearly cinched up the second spot in the South Division, but they play against Birmingham next week, so chalk that one up to probably another loss there. But at that point, they'd be 5-3, and the next closest would be Tampa Bay at 3-4, or currently at 3-4. So I think that they should also make the playoffs,
Right.
potentially. Either way, that's the USFL breakdown for this week. We made it shorter this week. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah. Not much to talk about.
No. Again, we haven't. I tuned in for a couple of the games.
So as someone who has paid attention to a lot of the league this year,
Mm-hmm.
who is the MVP?
MVP. That's kind of hard to pick, especially because I haven't watched every single game.
Right.
But then again, the real MVP voters don't watch every single game either. I think it would probably be Jamar Smith.
Probably.
I would argue that Jamar Smith.
Luis Perez, if he was
I
starting.
I wish that. Well, he is starting the last couple of weeks because DeAndre Johnson's been injured.
Right.
But
if he started the whole time.
yeah, I think so. Maybe not. But I think at the moment it is Jamar Smith's to lose. Also, an honorable mention, definitely Defensive Player of the Year would probably go to Scooby Wright, who is the linebacker, or the middle linebacker for Birmingham. He's become one of the main characters of this league so far. Have you seen the meme about the shark dog?
I have no feed from USFL.
Okay, well, Scooby Wright is a middle linebacker. He played for Arizona. He won the linebacker of the year, the Butkus Award.
Oh, okay.
And he never got a shot in the NFL really. But he's been playing out of his mind. I think he was injured this week, but he's been playing out of his mind in general.
Right.
And he was talking. They were interviewing him on the sidelines, and he said something about how his spirit animal was a shark dog, which is half dog, half shark. He's a crazy man. Scooby Wright
That'd be a little crazy.
is definitely a crazy man, but he's a great player. He's done well for them. Channing Stribling, I think he was leading the league in interceptions. Offensively, hasn't
It's not been some
not been really spectacular guys anywhere
It's a more
offensively.
defensive-sided league.
Yeah, because there's been people that come up, they play well for a couple weeks and then they don't do good. Luis Perez has played well the last couple weeks, but and DeAndre Johnson would probably also be up there for
Airplane mode. How am I still getting? There we go.
he would also probably be in the conversation for MVP. Even more so if he wasn't splitting time with Luis Perez. I can't really think of any. Slaughter was a couple weeks ago leading the league in passing yards, but I don't think he's done well enough for the last couple weeks to be considered MVP. Definitely, I would say Jamar Smith is the outright leader in. And even Jamar Smith hasn't played well over the last week or so. They played pretty poorly against the Maulers today.
Do you think there's a chance there could be a defensive player
Potentially.
winning the MVP?
Potentially, it could be. I could argue Scooby Wright, but
I think they should give it to a kicker.
in the USFL, give it to the Breakers.
Give it to the drones.
Give it to the Breakers kicker. At least he's made a game tying field goal with seconds to spare.
That is.
So that's something that you don't
impressive.
see.
Yeah.
Oh, one kicker actually. I think it was a Maulers kicker ended up hitting a 60-yarder. Not this week, but maybe in last week. But yeah. It's because Kirby Wilson doesn't let him get close enough to the end zone.
Right.
So,
It was the Panthers that had the terrible kicker, correct?
the Panthers had the kicker who doinked one from 21 yards.
Right. I'm mixed. Who am I supposed to be a fan of now? I guess I really don't deserve to call myself a fan of any team because I don't pay enough attention.
Yeah, you gotta be I don't want NFL MVP. I don't want that MVP.
There's no chance there's gonna be that much of a.
Can I find MVP? Nope, I don't think so. But yeah, I don't think there's anybody that's really stood out super far to be MVP. Just because football is such a QB-centric game, it will probably be Jamar Smith as the leader of the, as of yet so far, undefeated Birmingham Stallions. But I don't know
It's a pretty good thing to put on your resume.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's done enough. Because when I look at MVP, I look at it by name value, most valuable player. It's the most valuable player to the specific team, not best player in the league. I'd like to think of it more as who is the most valuable player to their team. And I don't think Jamar Smith.
I feel like Tom Brady would have a lot more MVPs.
Well, yeah, but that's not the way that everybody else does it. That's not the way that the NFL media does it. But this is the way I like to think about it. And I don't think there's anybody that really deserves MVP. But if you're talking about best player, then Jamar Smith probably. It's just the easy answer at this point. It's somebody who has stayed somewhat in touch, somewhat out of touch with the league. Yeah, I'm assuming you don't have any.
So there is one thing.
Anything else you want to update, or you want an update on with USFL?
Not that I can think of.
We still have to. We have to make a point. We've got 4 weeks now, 4 or 5 weeks now until Canton and before the playoffs begin. So we have to make it a point now to.
To what?
To go to Canton to watch watch the championship game.
Oh, okay. So the NBA playoffs are going on.
Mm-hmm. So I did hear that it was Game 7 tonight versus Heat and Celtics.
Yeah, that is true. And right now the Heat are automatically down by 9. So that's fantastic.
And they're the home team too. That's pretty good on the Celtics part.
Yeah, they are the home team because they have a better record. Yeah, I don't.
Golden State has already clinched their conference final. Right?
They have.
So this would be the first time that the Celtics make the finals since 2010. Is that correct?
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Butler is he's gonna zero in. He's gonna win it. I'm telling you.
He's calling it. He's calling the shot now.
Calling it now. Jimmy Butler makes the decision on when he wants to be a franchise player and when he doesn't want to be a franchise player. And he made the choice last night, or last game, on Friday, 2 nights ago, that he wanted to win. And so they won.
So you're saying that
he's going to make the choice tonight.
To win?
To win.
I'm surprised he hadn't made the choice earlier, but okay.
Jimmy Butler,
But, so you're saying that Jimmy Butler is going to turn it on here. They're going to go on a run and end up beating the Celtics beating the Celtics and ending up going to the Final Four.
You're absolutely...
Or not the Final Four, the NBA championship. They're already in the Final Four technically, so...
Yeah, I believe that this is the night the Heat are going to make the championship. I want them to win it all this year, truthfully. I really love Jimmy Butler.
I kind of rooting for not the Celtics, Golden State. A little bit. I like Steph. I think he's a nice guy. Jordan Poole, as a Michigan fan, you should be happy that he's a...
So I got a haircut the other day, and while I was in the barber shop, they started talking about the NBA, and like the 3 barbers that were there all immediately went, and I said nothing, and I was probably very smart to say nothing, but they started talking about the Golden State series, and they immediately went, I despise Jordan Poole. He's too flashy.
Come on, you can't blame a guy for being flashy. That's called the NBA, Gribble.
Well, they don't like him. We might want to readjust the mic.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but it's a good thing that the mic is...
It's fairly sensitive. It was picking us up pretty good.
It is a pretty big...
Well, you can just look at the...
Yeah, I don't know. It's just making sure, you know.
Okay.
They were judging him though because and not because he is too flashy, but
too showboaty.
Not even showboaty. Just believed he could do it all on his own.
I don't think he would necessarily agree with that, but considering he's on a team with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson,
it's just the way he plays. Because he did this at Michigan too, where he would take possessions all on his own. He would not look out, and I would say I've scarcely watched Jordan Poole at Golden State. You're watching a sportscast of one person who somewhat watches sports, one person who struggles to watch sports at all now. So
well, we got summer. You've got summer now. You've
tuned in to the right show.
Yeah, welcome to the SportsCast. The show where
no one watches sports.
Yeah, where we talk about sports.
It's just the cast.
Yeah, it's just a cast at this point. But
the X-cast. But they're clowning on him because he makes a lot of amazing plays. Don't get me wrong. But he has the habit of making some pretty dumb plays as well.
That's why he's the sixth man on the rotation instead of...
Yeah, but I will say people have been begging for him to not be the sixth man anymore.
He's starting instead of Klay Thompson, right?
Yeah, I will say Klay has since got back into his normal routine. He's playing like Klay Thompson again.
Just in time, too.
Yeah.
But anyway, that'll be interesting. We'll put it out on the Instagram. Follow us at the.sports.cast if Granville gets his prediction right. Anyways, any other thing you want to talk about, Granville? You can tell the major amount. You even got your. Wait, do you just have an AirPod in at the moment?
No, I don't.
Okay, I was gonna say. I was like, how boring is this show? Is it, Granville?
I'm listening to music, Yeah.
Yeah.
I got this hat for some reason. I've been wearing this hat a lot recently, and I don't know why, because I have a billion different hats I could be wearing.
Oh, I wonder why.
Let's see, it was this one or the Michigan one.
Well, you didn't want to go double Michigan,
yeah. And I couldn't find a Navy hat. The only other hat I had around was red, and I'd be kind of icky.
Well, Granville, as now a state championship running track person, can you tell us a little bit about?
I got dusted.
I know, but
I got destroyed.
But can you tell us a little bit about the experience of competing at that level?
It was amazing. I loved it, but man, I got destroyed.
You're only a junior. You still got one more year, and still ended up getting that scholarship. So
I did.
But
I did.
Tell us a little bit.
I really need to respond to that coach.
Well, tell us about how was it? How was the experience going to MTSU to play at that? To do that?
It was a lot of fun. I will say MTSU is not the greatest facility to do it at.
MTSU is not the greatest at anything, unfortunately. So
I did not like their track. Their track was kind of low quality.
I should have ran it at Tech's.
Oh, no. Tech probably didn't have much of a track to begin with.
We've got a track. It's a pretty nice track.
Actually, you guys kind of built one recently, so it's probably okay.
It's there as long as
they've
surfaced
done
it.
Everything.
Yeah, we resurfaced it. I want to say a couple years ago.
I don't know. When you step onto the track, you want it to be like a little bouncy. You want it to give a little bit. It felt like it was just. Honestly speaking, it felt like asphalt that you could still run with spikes on. So it gave just enough for your spikes, but didn't feel that good to run on. And then not to mention we oh man.
Complaining about the track conditions, he's got to come up with as many excuses as he can.
Yeah, so I ran in the mile, and this was probably the most stacked the mile has been and years for the state championship. There were 5 or 6 different guys that I could have said easily would have won. And
the guy, wouldn't he run like a 4:13?
4:13, yeah. I ran a 4:48 for perspective. I came from a slow region or from a slow section to qualify for it.
We did look you up at work just to see how well you did. So
I did not do good. But I did not get last place.
They did better than me at any of my tournaments that I ever did. So
I'll come back good next year.
Well, I finished 3rd at the middle school at our state. It was the independent one. It was the private school one. It was the NCAA. But
no, TSSAA is the big one.
I know. I said it wasn't the TSSAA.
Oh, okay.
It was like the TIIA or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It was like but I did at least medal at one point, unlike some people here in this room. So.
Man, I can pull out my.
Just kidding, Ramble. I know you're a better athlete than me, because I'm fat now, unfortunately. Anyway.
Yeah, we could fix that.
I mean, I've been working on it.
Put
Don't
you
worry.
on a training regimen.
I've been working on it. I've been trying to keep up with my calories and stuff. I'm gonna have to I might have to give up this next week when we go off to Michigan, but but I've been trying to keep up with it. That's a perk about having a guy who likes the gym as your boss.
Yeah.
It kind of gives you more motivation to
Right.
actually go and do it. Anyway,
I mean, I can talk about how the actual race itself.
Yeah, tell me. Well, give me the experience. How was it? Like when you got there, what was your first thought? Like you and your team show up.
I mean, I was okay. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I was very happy to just be there. I was very happy to just be there. But I knew that I was not gonna do very good comparatively to everyone else. So I mean, I was there to do my best, and my idea was to just try and hold on to the pack of really good runners for as long as I could, and I hung on. Oh boy, did I hold on! So when we got into the actual race, so I ran at sections just 2 weeks prior to this, and I ran a 4:39 to qualify for state. And things went almost perfectly to plan. I went out at 67 400, which I knew was pretty stinking fast. So I knew that if I coast back a little bit, there were a whole bunch of people who were running way faster than they should have. So I was going to let them tire themselves out, and I'd slowly creep back up, and that's exactly what happened. And it went straight to plan. I ran a 67, and a 71, 73, and then back to a 67, and that got me a 4:39. Well, I wanted to try to do something similar at state, and it did not go to plan. We went out in a 66, which was exhausting, but you know, it's just how it is. It's state championship. I'm in dead last place, and I got a 66, and then we ran a 67, which, you know, we slowed down from a 67 to a 71 2 weeks prior, but we slowed down by 1 second, and then they sped up after that lap, and I did not. But you know, you get big race experience.
Exactly. You get a little bit of opportunity to go out there. You got one more year to improve.
Yeah. Literally my first big race ever.
Yeah, it's the first time you've been at state, correct?
Yeah.
As a runner. So
never have I been in such an amazing field of runners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, hopefully or more likely when you go to Milligan, you won't be facing anybody who's running 4:13.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Well,
there's some sub 4 milers in the NAIA.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. See,
that's why the USFL should succeed, because there's untapped potential at those lower levels. Anyway, getting back to something I know a little bit more about.
It's a little bit different when you look at divisions for running. You don't look at it's not cut and dry, because like in college football, you look at a D1 program and you think, well, obviously it's going to be better than a D2 program.
Mm-hmm. But when it comes to NAIA versus that, you know, in running, well, I guess
not even that.
Since it's more of an individual-based sport.
Well, not necessarily. It's the fact is that you look for the program with the right coaches, and pretty much any program could have the right coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So
and that's specific to you, correct? The right coach for you.
The right coach for you, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm looking for a school that has a good divinity program as well, or a minister program. So I mean, Milligan has been far up there because of that.
You know something great. Well, Tennessee Tech has won 2 national championships in sports. Can you guess what they were?
I'm gonna guess one was swimming.
No.
Archery.
Close.
Is it like air rifles or something?
Yeah. They got 2 air rifle national titles in the
Wow,
80s.
it took me 3 guesses to narrow down to that.
In the 1980s, a couple brothers came in and won a couple national championships for us with air rifles. So, anyway, but congratulations running there, Granville. Speaking of different levels of sports, I don't know. I lost my segue there. I'm trying to think. Well, we are even less prepared than we usually are.
We are.
Okay.
You know what I'm looking forward to?
What are you looking forward to?
The national championship for ultimate frisbee.
Is it
I have no clue. I have no clue when that's happening. But that's a legitimate college sport.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I wonder if you can get like genuine.
You're
How
never
much
gonna
can you
scholarships.
get paid for?
Nah.
No,
Speaking of paid, I got a subject for you that I had thought of and then I forgot and now I've remembered again. Have you seen Nick Saban's comments about Jimbo Fisher and the Texas A&M Aggies?
I have.
Yeah. Why don't you explain it to the audience out there, Granville?
Oh, you really put me on the spot here.
All right.
So
I'll try to fill in the blanks if I can.
Right. So a few weeks ago, Nick Saban went on some sort of talk show. Or some sort of press conference, and he basically called out, we know what we're doing. We signed the number 2 class in the nation, and we consistently sign great classes, and we never pay any athletes, unlike Texas A&M, who signed 8 5-stars.
Yeah. I think the exact words that Nick Saban used were, Texas A&M paid every player that they signed.
Right. And so Jimbo Fisher didn't really like that. It's a little bit of a shocker there.
Oh, just a hair, just a little bit of a shocker.
Yeah, so Jimbo in his own press conference, he didn't respond in the nicest way possible.
Didn't he say I have something along the lines of, or this is my interpretation was, I have receipts. Like, don't make me show them.
I mean, to an extent, basically. I don't know if he legitimately said that, but that's basically what he said.
Mm-hmm.
I am genuinely curious because, I mean, there are reports coming out that Texas A&M had some major NIL stuff going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's... I was listening to a podcast by the Michigan MGO blog guys, and they were on the radio. And basically... And it makes sense to a certain degree that NIL is just the tag. It's just the name for paying players.
Yeah.
It's not, because they're not really they're not doing work for it. Like, I mean, minus being on the football field. How many NIL actual sponsorships have you actually seen somebody gone through and actually seen the ad or whatever that they're getting paid for? I can't think of any really. But,
well, a lot of NIL programs now are just straight up, come to this university and we'll pay you $70,000.
Exactly, and what it's done, surprisingly enough, is level the playing field out.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, because you would have schools like Alabama who are great at paying players under the table.
Oh. Controversial.
Yeah, no shade at. Well, I say no shade, but all schools, including Michigan, I'm assuming, cheat. It's the way that college football has always been. Everybody cheats. The only way to succeed at college football is to cheat. Because if you're playing level, if you're playing square, you're Tennessee Tech. So, unless, but everybody cheats to a certain degree. And what NIL has done...
I don't like that take. Look
at the history. Everybody... I know. As Michigan fans, we like to think that we're better than...
We're fine.
We don't cheat as much as other teams.
Right. I mean, we haven't gotten caught cheating.
Yeah. Well,
Pretty much.
The Beeline, didn't he have some get into trouble with something early on?
Beeline...
with NCAA? I know our basketball program in the 90s was...
Which, that was dumb. What's his name? Weber. No, not Weber. Was it Weber?
I don't know.
Which one was it?
It was one of the
Jalen Rose. I believe it was Weber, actually.
Did he blow the whistle on getting paid? And then that...
He was the one that,
Well,
Michigan.
Either way, at high-level college football, and high-level college sports in general, there's cheating. There's lots of cheating going on.
Yeah, I think it is Chris Webber. Well, basically, what happened was Chris Webber, his family got paid. Webber didn't even take any money. Someone took money on behalf of him. And then, well, they got caught. And I believe Webber was the only one.
Well, the good thing is that Michigan's full of smart people who know how to cheat and not get caught. Same with Alabama, surprisingly enough. Alabama's had their system in place for years.
Man, I don't like that. That's so... You're not even basing it on, like... You're just speculating.
That's how it's always been.
Yeah, but you can't make statements like that just on speculation.
I can too.
You can't make smart statements.
Well, that's the way I view Saban's comments. Are you seriously suggesting that Saban did not pay any of his players? Maybe not personally. Do you don't think that his boosters didn't pay any players?
I think it's pretty easy for Saban to get the recruits he wants.
Yeah, but what it's done with NIL and paying players, it has leveled the playing field where those big money schools like Texas A&M...
It hasn't made a difference for Alabama. The only difference that it made was
Alabama, it has hurt Alabama.
The only reason why it hurt Alabama
was because Texas A&M could afford more money and could pay their players.
No, think about it this way. If Alabama just continues recruiting the way that they have without NIL, or if they...
And that I do agree with you on that, because in the next couple of years when Alabama fully gets into NIL, they'll be back to dominating. But
it's such an easy pitch to make to any person. To come to Alabama, the greatest college football historically program, and
for
be
Nick
with
Saban.
The greatest coach of all time. You're like guaranteed a national championship at least once throughout your career at Alabama.
Mm-hmm. But
one of the greatest path to the pros possible.
If somebody doesn't care about that and their main goal is just money, then
I feel like Saban doesn't even go after those guys as much.
Oh, then that's better for Texas A&M to go after those guys. And then now they
character flaws.
Well, now they can go after them. So, but I think. Well,
I don't like that take.
Look at the recruiting rankings. Well, you think about the recruiting rankings. Yeah, Alabama was always at the top. But where was Texas A&M before NIL?
Not that far below.
But now they're at the top.
You do realize they're like top 5 consistently.
I don't think so.
They always sign several 5-stars. Especially with Jimbo Fisher.
2019 recruiting class.
The top 5 teams are somewhere along the lines of Alabama. You're gonna get Ohio State up there.
5.
That's in 2019.
Yeah.
Go to 2020.
2020 is when you start getting 6.
Right.
We'll go back to 2017. Before
Why are you going that far back?
13. Mm-hmm.
That's literally about 5 or 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm. That was before Jimbo Fisher got there.
Oh my gosh.
But
it's 5 or 6 years ago.
But now they can compete even better with Alabama because they can pay their players more. Because they got the deep...
That's such a flawed argument.
Deep Texas pocket money.
That's such a flawed argument. You can't just base...
I've done quite a bit of research on the history of college football.
And that was literally 100 years ago.
Yeah, but
a lot
then
of
you
the
also,
stuff you're studying.
Well, okay. Well, you talk about... Let's go back to the 80s in SMU. SMU was like the one team to get caught, but everybody was doing it.
Because we actually have base for that. We have base for that speculation.
I know, but now...
But now there's none.
There's...
Because SMU got caught. And everyone else was like, well,
What about
we can't have the death
Larry
penalty.
Tunsil at Ole Miss said that he got paid.
Ole Miss is one of the only schools that actually has consistent evidence for them cheating. I don't think you can just go, they cheated, obviously. That's such a... it's just an excuse for why your team hasn't done as good comparatively. I don't like it when Jim Harbaugh goes, well, the only reason we're not getting the good recruits is because teams like Alabama are paying them. That's just an excuse. It's dumb. It's just a cheap way of saying, well, I don't know, we just couldn't do it. I don't... Without taking any sort of accountability for what you've done. It's just the easy way. What are you looking for?
I'm trying to find...
Larry Tunsil?
Well, yeah, I already found Larry Tunsil. Said he got paid for the 2016 draft. He accepted money from Ole Miss's assistant athletic director for football operations.
Right.
To pay bills. But I don't know. I think you're... How do I put this? I'm not trying to be mean. I apologize in advance. But I think you're almost being a little bit naive in this case. Because football, there's always been cheating. Because you even look at Larry Tunsil, there's always been cheating. And think about it this way. If Ole Miss were the only people playing their players, why would Ole Miss then not be getting, like...
They did that year.
In 2016?
Whatever year Larry Tunsil was, they signed an amazing class. Until, I think I know that for a little bit there, at least, I believe they signed it, but people may have decommitted. Because that's another thing, is it's so easy to just take the money and then not commit. It's what they talked about in the documentary about Larry Tunsil that SB Nation released.
I think that with it out in the open, with the money out in the open, that it'll create a more level playing field for all colleges. Because now you don't have colleges like Ole Miss. How about that? There's your argument. If you think that Ole Miss only got their high class because they were one of like 3 teams that were paying players, then now that everybody is paying players, it's a more even field. That it doesn't go to the people who are
right. I'm not arguing
money.
Against that.
But I still think that it was.
What's even the point of what? You can't even cheat now because it's allowed.
Exactly. That's what I think is the best bit about it. I mean,
which is why Nick Saban is still signing incredible classes because nothing has changed.
Yeah. Well, and
the only thing that's changed is that Texas A&M is shelling out way money.
More money than we were paying before.
Yeah. No. I thought you were going to say something smart.
No. I think there's always been cheating. There's always been cheating. There always will be cheating because people will want to find the edge. And I
don't think there's that much cheating if there is cheating. I don't think people are... I don't like this.
You think people are naturally good, so...
I don't like to see the worst in people.
Well, unfortunately I do. So, anyway, we'll move off from this discussion here before Granville pops an aneurysm thinking about how bad people... Right.
This world!
Well, you talk about held on the pedestal Michigan. I told you this in 1897.
1897.
But still,
you're flawed when you start.
They
it is a flawed argument when you have to.
9 out of their 11 starters.
It is a flawed argument when you start up by saying, well, in 1897,
there's a scandal I learned about it.
You can't make the.
My argument is that there's always been cheating. It was cheating at the beginning. There's cheating nowadays. Everybody cheats. You don't tell me that.
1897.
You don't think that Texas, the University of Texas, isn't paying like $1 billion for their players?
They are now.
Well, now they can. I'm not saying you think that they're not paying them before.
I don't know, man. I just don't. I don't like making that speculation of they've done that without any sort of basis for that.
I think there is some basis. I think that we looked at Ole Miss already.
And
the thing is,
I'm done with this. I'm so done with
this.
This.
Is that every now and again the NCAA, they have to act like, be the bad guy and shut somebody down for it. And notice they picked off Ole Miss, the team that wasn't already competing real well anyway. So they were like, Ole Miss, bang. So.
I know when reports come out in 10 years saying that I was an idiot and that everyone was cheating, I'll at least be happy with myself knowing that I trusted you all and you all betrayed me.
I'll do some research on it and I'll come back next week. Don't worry.
Okay. It's not even worth it.
Next thing's next.
It's 8:30 already.
Yeah, but we started a little bit late, technically. So
like 10 minutes late.
Well, you can see. Yeah, we got 10 minutes left. So.
Hey, I was right. What would you know?
Well, I mean, we got 10 minutes left, so.
Oh my gosh.
Unless you.
So, where are you going to pull out your hat?
You've noticed that our shows become progressively shorter over the weeks.
Well, we've always gone to 8:30.
I know, but we've also. You can look at the time stamps on YouTube. It's like. It started out like an hour 30, and then it was.
We had a lot of stuff to talk about.
Well,
it is the off season.
Well, how do sports people end up talking 3 hours long versus?
They have the MLB. They have
a
lot of really nitty gritty detail stuff that they go into.
I can talk about my fantasy baseball team.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, 10 minutes, Ben.
Well, we suck. Are middling.
What's your name?
This is Team Ben or Team Sexton, I guess.
It's disappointing, Ben.
I know. I didn't. Actually, let's talk about this here. Let's go a side step for our fantasy sports and talk about the Tech COVID Fantasy Football League for 2022. Let's get this. Actually, first things first. Are you going to run the fantasy football league at church?
I should. I think I'll struggle to find some people, but I will give it a try.
Okay.
We have a long time before we have to worry about that, though.
Oh, it's August will be when it starts up.
We're still in May.
June, July, August.
I know.
If it's going to take a lot of time to scare up people, you might...
Well, I'm not going to go up to people
I know.
I know. Hey, 3 months from now.
You toss it out there now. Let them think about it. Give them some time.
Slip it into a conversation.
Yeah, I was like, when we did
last time we did a fantasy football league.
Mm-hmm. But, Tech COVID League. Obviously, everybody who is in it should be allowed back. I believe everybody was.
I really want to do. I like Josh's idea of getting a league together where you have to keep the players from a year-to-year basis, and then you redraft a little bit. How would the redraft work? Yeah, a keeper league. How does a redraft work?
Okay, so what
you draft rookies? You draft.
So the way that the keeper, it depends really on how in depth you want to make it.
We could throw whoever quits. We could just throw their players into the.
Well, the way it generally works for a keeper league is that you keep like 4 or 5 players. You don't keep the whole team.
Right.
And so that way there is some turnover there.
Right.
But you can also save your best players. So like me, last year I had Josh Allen. I could keep Josh Allen and not have to worry about losing him.
I don't even remember who it was worth keeping for me.
I don't know, more than many on your team. I don't think that were worth keeping. But
I did very bad.
anyway, it's hopefully a new year.
I lost like 6 games in a row, all within the points of like 5. I played to the level of my competition, and I lost every single time.
Yeah, I get that feeling. That's how the Breakers play. But, so who was all in the league last year? We had 10 people. So me, you,
Josh,
Joseph was in it.
Danny,
Tanner, Thelina was technically in it, but
yeah, Wes. Was there?
No, Weston wasn't in
Okay.
it. Justin Lee. And Alex
Julia.
Sayeko. No, that was a couple years ago.
Oh really?
Wait.
No, that was this year.
Oh yeah, she was. Oh yeah, because it was a 12-team league.
Yeah.
And Julia was in there.
Someone else was in there too.
I can't remember. But we should invite back pretty much everybody, I think, if they play. Because we did a good job. All right, it was surprisingly enough for a fantasy league that had no capital up for grabs.
People were pretty active.
Yeah, people were fairly active.
I credit all of it to Josh.
I do credit a lot of it to Josh.
I credit 100% of it to Josh.
I think most of it was just us wanting to beat Josh.
I think I would have quit a while ago if it weren't for Josh.
Yeah, Josh did keep it. I think we should probably put some like $5 into it.
Yeah,
just to make
at least
people,
$5.
Just to make people actually want to play.
Maybe 10, 15.
Maybe
10, 15 is not ridiculous.
Yeah, I think we should put some money into it just so that people wanna.
Right. It really questions on how you redistribute it though. Is it like if you make the playoffs?
I think if you make the playoffs, you get your money back.
Yeah.
And then if you
second place gets like some, and then first place gets
a lion's share. So if it's let's do $5 a piece just to calculate it out.
Example.
Yeah. So $5 a piece. So we do the top 6 make the playoffs. So that means at least $30 goes back.
Right.
At least $30. You do 20 to the winner. So winner gets 25. Loser gets 15. Or second place gets 15. And
wait. You're losing me.
So there's $5 go to the top 6. That's $30.
$30.
Yeah. Well then, no, I'm saying I was including the $5 they also got back. So there's $30.
Right.
So the winner would get an extra $20, which puts them at a total of 25.
Okay.
And the second place would get a 10 more, which would put them at 15.
Right. Okay.
But
so really, they're a net gain
of 10 and 20.
Yeah. So if you did that with 10, you just double it. And
it'd be 40 and 20.
Right.
Which, for just playing fantasy football on the side, isn't nothing to scoff at.
Yeah.
I also do like the idea of league loser
punishment,
but
you need to come up with something that's not so terrible that they'll actually do it, because half of the league loser punishments I hear of never get done. There's a few different ones.
League loser should come on the show.
That's funny. They have to do it all by themselves.
No.
So there's the Waffle House one.
Oh, don't do the Waffle House one. Yeah,
not gonna happen. No chance.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Another one is you have to dress up. However, for one day or for a certain amount of days, you dress up. However,
the winner wants you to.
Sure. Or sometimes I've heard it's like every single person in the league gets a day, or just like the playoff winners get a day.
Maybe you just make it financial. Maybe just say overall loser actually has to get an extra 10 or something.
You have to. Yeah.
Because you do need a carrot and a stick.
We need
carrot reward is if you make the playoffs, you get your money back.
Right.
And the stick is if you finish in last, then
I've never heard it used that way before.
You never heard carrot and stick?
No.
Alright.
I've heard you put the carrot on the stick.
Yeah.
And then you lead them along.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Not. Okay, another one I've heard of. This one I think is hilarious. I honestly don't think it'd be that bad in my opinion, but I love how some people react to it. But you have to go to the nearest WNBA game and watch it all without your phone.
Go to the nearest USFL game and watch it on your phone. I don't know.
You watch the Panthers versus
The Maulers.
The Maulers.
Yeah.
Kansas, or you could do Vanderbilt versus UConn.
Also, the problem with it would be that all the people in the league are now spread out to the 4 wins. But I would like to do a live draft. At the very least.
You do a Zoom or something.
Yeah, over Zoom or something. And that way, see, one thing I've always thought of when it comes to fantasy sports is that if you auto-pick your team, you don't have any attachment to it and you fade out quicker.
Honestly, we need to somehow force it to where you have to be there for the draft. If you're not there for the draft, then like unless it's like something pretty big, but unless you just like go to the draft because you didn't want to.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
Yeah,
but
send us an email if you're interested in our.
We can do a SportsCast.
We could do a SportsCast.
For Fantasy Football League.
Yeah.
If you're interested in
anyone out there.
Email us.
Anyone out there.
Ask Gran and Ben at gmail.com.
Who are you out there?
We can even do
mysterious viewer.
We can even have a leaderboard. Or multiple leaderboards.
Let me check and see if we have a viewer right now.
But,
don't leave since I said that. There's one person out there.
But, anyway, I think...
Send a message into the chat, I'm begging you.
I think that will...
Whoever you are.
We'll do it for this week on the SportsCast. Again, if you're interested in the SportsCast Fantasy Football League, email us at askgranandben at gmail.com.
Or send a message to the Instagram.
Send us an Instagram message. Tune in Tuesday, I guess, for SportsCast Presents. We will continue with NCAA 14 Dynasty.
Killing it, personally.
I've also thought about doing an extra night, maybe racing or something. I've got downloaded a couple racing games on there. I don't know. We'll figure something out. We'll be streaming every night.
Yeah.
You don't have to be here. I just stream by myself. But well, thank you all for watching, or thank you all for watching along with the VOD. Y'all have a good evening. Good night.
Good night. I need to fix my hair, man. I need to fix